Hi guys, how's it going? I know we are all cooped up and having a lot of trouble with staying home and being bored and not knowing what to do, feeling a little claustrophobic, maybe some cabin fever. What are we going to do with all that energy? Well, I came up with one little activity that you guys can do as the Eco Action team from home. We all have, well, many of us have juice cartons like this, or we have milk cartons, or there's any kind of carton like an alternative milk type of milk that you use might come in a carton like this, but you can cut one side out and then leave the spout so it's facing down. And then we're gonna fill this and create a garden. So you can plant, I would recommend planting greens or herbs because they're both fast growing and you can use them right away when they show their greens. Whereas with tomatoes, you actually have to have them pollinated for them to be edible to us, right? We have to pollinate to get the fruit. Well, what you're going to start with is, of course, cutting the side out, and then you're going to get some pebbles like this just to fill the bottom for drainage. You want to fill it about a third of the way up or so, just so you have some good drainage when you water. Otherwise it'll turn into kind of a sloppy mess underneath as time goes on. And the reason we have that spout on the bottom is so you can open it up sometimes and drain out the water. So you'll see I'm going to tip you up a little bit so you can look inside. So you can see it's filled up to the spout roughly with gravel. And you can even get this gravel outside. You could use any size rocks. The little ones are nice because they spread out a little bit more evenly. So the other thing you're gonna want is coconut coir. You can rehydrate this and you can mix it with some more of those little pebbles to make it more of a structurally sound for roots to travel through. So again, I'm going to tip you up to see what I've got here. So I mixed a little bit with coconut coir, some of those pebbles I put into the juice box here. And now what I'm going to do is put this mix on top of the pebbles so that it's nearly full. And you can alternate this with some worm compost. And yes, this will get a little messy, but it's easy enough to clean up. So I'm going to put some of that mix, the coconut coir mix in there, and then I'm going to reach inside the worm compost bucket. You should have some really good black stuff in there. And you will have to do this by hand. You can't just scoop out a bunch of compost and put it in there because you're going to have worms in there too. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have worms in with your plants, but if you want them to live a long, happy life, they're not going to want to be in the planter. So anyway, you're going to grab some and you're going to, alternate. So basically put a nice, I don't know, 1/2 inch layer on top of the coconut coir. And it's okay if there's some plant debris or paper mixed in with that, it'll be okay. So I'm gonna do that, and it's nice and black. That means it's full of worm castings. Remember, worm castings are worm poop, and it's really rich with plant feeding capacity, right? The roots are gonna love this, and they'll sprout a lot faster. And if you get the stuff down at the bottom, that's already kind of spent a lot of time being digested by worms, it'll be really nice and black. That's the stuff you want to mix in. And if you see a worm jump in there, just pull them back out and put them back in your worm composter. I hope your worm composters are going really well. I would love to hear how everything's going on that front. You've got more access, more time to look at that stuff and have fun with it. So I thought I'd give you some more things to do while at home that connects you to nature and connects you back to our planet. Even though we can't go out and hang out with our friends, we can still connect with the wonders of nature, right? So I'm nearly done, and once I'm done, I'm going to put the seeds in, and of course I'm going to water this right away, because if you don't water it right away, the seeds will not sprout. And you can cover the seeds with like a piece of wax paper or maybe a plastic cover that is still breathable, but it keeps the moisture in. You want to keep those seeds nice and wet. So yeah, I've got a pretty good layer of compost on there now. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. These buckets are definitely limited in their capacity, but I will say you don't need a ton of compost to do the job. I was amazed at how quickly my seeds germinated with using my own worm compost. It took way less time for them to germinate than they normally would with store-bought seed starter kit. So it's definitely worth doing it this way. Okay, so once you have a nice healthy layer of compost on top, you're going to mix the compost in to the coconut coir so that it's nice and it's a nice fluid nutrient medium for growing. Okay, it's not broken up, in some places having hardly any nutrients and others very, very rich. Okay, and then what you'll do is you'll and I'm gonna go ahead and tip you up and look inside there. So I've got some good black compost mixed in with the coconut coir. It looks lighter now because some of the coconut coir is mixed in there. And of course those pebbles, these are actually, it's like a lava rock that I got off of, it's pumice. I got it off of Amazon. And you can get coconut coir on Amazon too. And it is not very expensive, and you can use coconut coir for any kind of plant projects you want to. So it's nice to have a little extra around. Okay, so the final step will be to add seeds. Now, I ordered these seeds from a company based out of Boulder. It's bbbc.com. And this is a mix of greens. The reason I chose greens is because, again, pollinators aren't required to get to the edible form of this plant for us. And it's really important for us to eat a lot of phytochemicals, a lot of plant matter right now to keep us healthy. So, and they'll also grow pretty fast, and you can eat the microgreens and you can wait for them to get really big. You decide. The beauty of this too is that you can use this seed packet multiple times. So you don't sow all of these seeds all at once in this container. You sow a third of the packet maybe, and maybe less than that depending on how many seeds are in here. But you wait for them to sprout, you harvest, and then you can plant more seeds and you can get this more greens growing in the same little container. Additionally, you could do multiple containers. You can do 3 or 4 at a time and grow different kinds of greens in each one, and so that makes it kind of fun. And then you've got your own garden of lettuce growing right on your kitchen table or in the windowsill of your bedroom. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Again, you're going to want to make sure that the soil stays wet and make sure that those seedlings are moist and they're in the sun, they're getting enough light to germinate. And then when you see them start to grow, you don't have to keep them as wet, but make sure they are getting watered, and then maybe you can plant more along the way as you harvest the lettuce. So I hope you guys have a really good time with this project, and hang in there. This is an unprecedented time. We're living through a very historical event, and you guys are all doing magnificently in whatever place you are and whatever you're doing. Just look on the bright side. Do things like this to keep yourself busy and happy, and make sure you get outside and connect with nature. Okay, I miss all of you guys so very, very much. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.